Hello, I'm No Nerd, and this is the, what are we on now? Number 5, I think, vlog of the solar Goldrush project I'm working on, which is this attempt to make a generative space mini-game, basically, or game, or, well, who knows, but I'm trying to keep the scope realistic somewhat at the minute with this game. So, it's my main side project at the minute, and it's been made a lot of progress actually in this week. A hell of a lot actually. I did a bit of a late one last night. Like, I didn't plan to do that. I just got sucked into it like loads. Start getting ready to it. So anyway, let's just I'll just report progress and talk about the game. I won't elaborate too much about what the actual project is because there's other vlogs that go into that, but basically it's a generative space game, generate a space scene, be able to land on planets. So what functionality did it get working? Quite a lot of stuff actually. So basically now there's randomized planet names which get applied to each planet. That works. I just found a function for generating planet names which actually worked straight away, modified it a little bit, and then added it as an attribute to each planet name. To each planet when it gets generated in the function that generates planets, and that just works. It's one of those occasions where something just works straight away, which is good. Still working on the full function for planet generation, so that orbits around the sun. Positioning's been a lot better. Obviously, visual tweaks. At the minute, I'm currently stuck with a little bug I'm trying to fix with HUDs, but that is sort of getting there, and it will just end up being something out of place, I'm sure, or just something randomly that's detaching it. Major big piece of new functionality, which is about halfway there, is ability to generate and land on planets. I'm using the AFrame environment component for that. It's not going to be anything too complicated, but basically I can trigger now. The way I've done it is basically I've split, there's two entities, one for space, one for planet generation. The idea currently is that whenever a player goes to land on a planet, which I'll have to figure out the actual UI and mechanism for triggering that, but basically when the player goes to land on a planet, the visibility of the space scene gets turned to false, so it doesn't get rendered, and then the planet scene gets rendered and it generates a new planet. So I need to fully figure that out properly, but basically it shouldn't be that hard. It should basically be passing a few parameters to the environment component, like color for the ground, maybe some seed values and stuff. In terms of like if you wanted to go to a planet and then revisit it, I could probably just store in an array. Store each of the unique parameters for each planet in an array every time when it's being visited. So basically it'd just be an array that would grow and grow. And then if it has, like, there'd be some logic like if this planet has been accessed before, but whatever, like, you know what I mean. What else? That's the major things, really. Planet landing. I was working on that an awful lot last night. It was interesting. And asteroid field. So I managed to get an asteroid field generator working, which was surprisingly easy. Not that hard. At the minute, it just generates one asteroid field in a random location with randomized number of asteroids. I just used the dodecahedron primitive. Actually, looks quite good with a little texture applied. That's probably about it. I'm going to do a time lapse after this, which will be quite long. It's like 8 minutes today because I did quite a lot of work on it. But I'll just do the usual that I've been doing on these vlogs and do a voiceover while the time lapse runs. Also like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. There will be a video at the end of this project where I really go into the code in depth and do a code review basically, but that won't be till later when it's actually finished, or finished enough, right? Well, the first version's finished, the first playable version's done, so I'll leave it at that. Roll time lapse, enjoy, leave your comments below. Okay, here we go. Time lapse number 4. I'm going to just talk a lot more random stuff now because this is like 8 minutes long, so why, it's going to be harder a bit to keep on track with stuff. But yeah, you can see like at this stage I'm basically tweaking. Like a lot of what I'm doing with this project really is like tweak, make some major progress, go back, tweak again, break something, tweak it more, find out something in the breaking progress that I can do. So in a sense, like it's very rewarding, but back and forth. So I was like, yeah, I've got that target thing on there now, but that's actually broken in a minute. So like I have to keep on going back and forth. But it's like weird. So like I'm basically like seeing about 3/4 or a half of what it'll look like in the final thing, and then having to add a new feature and so that like I've got the fuse cursor working there basically and customized it, made it look good. I think I was doing a lot of testing there with just how the scene was getting generated. Obviously that still always requires a lot of tweaking. I'm still tweaking to this moment. I did the star field. This is a major advancement actually. I forgot to mention it in the introductory video. So the star field background, that completely sorts out the problem with the background just looking like ass. Then there I was just trying to customize some to make the sun look better. The suns look just like rubbish. You can see there it looks a bit more naturalistic at that point. The actual distribution of stars and planets, etc. I was looking into like glow shaders and some other things. You can see there, it looked pretty cool. Apart from the fact that there was no planets orbiting around, the actual star distribution was pretty effective. The actual distribution in general is actually now fine. It's more about the number. You can see there I'm just flying around, just getting used to it. But I messed around with AI a bit. So there's this DALL-E thing now. So I messed around with a similar program. I was trying to see if I could generate a HUD as an experiment, basically. So just feeding it some inputs, seeing what it would do. Didn't really get anything that was satisfactory. This one just selected was sort of okay, but it just didn't look like anything real. Probably on the newer sort of platforms you could create something that looked really, like that. I mean, to be fair, actually, the images that generated were fine. They just weren't front facing, so I'd probably have to evolve them a lot more. And then here I was just trying to think maybe I could just try and design my own HUD, which I want to do eventually anyway, somehow, but cross that bridge later. Like it's literally an asset swap at that point. So again, just playing around with, I think, positioning. I think this is probably near the point where I started doing the random planet generation, I guess. Here I'm just adding. What was it doing here? I was trying to register a new component for something or other. Checking my phone, agonizing. Yeah, I was just into it. I was really doing work there. I think the asteroids are going to be coming up soon, actually. So that will be coming up in a bit. Again, just some color tweaking, playing around with all the settings and that. I was working on the orbits here, so I was trying to get the which I think is the annoying thing about this at the minute is that it sort of works, but it also doesn't. So like sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. It also doesn't work on all elements, so I need to figure that out. That's quite, in terms of the actual space generation scene, that's basically one of the main things left. It's just the planetary orbits around the sun, which I'm still trying to achieve by doing the animation, adding an entity for the animation, do rotation around the sun. It's probably going to end up being fairly simple, but because I'm trying to get a lot of other stuff working at the same time, it's ending up being a bit annoying, I think. And like it's a bit broken at the minute. I need to fix that. I think to be honest, like in the last session I did, which will probably be the last 3 minutes of this. Oh, the wormhole started working, which is great. So that was actually just some silly mistake I'd made, so I got that working. So when I'm ready, I can just basically do it so when you contact with a wormhole, it just transports you to a new generative solar system, which is of course very cool. And it won't be that hard to achieve because basically I'm just passing it through the function that generates everything anyway, and clearing the scene and then generating a new one on top. So in theory, that's actually pretty simple. And that's like one of the cool things. Like with the whole loop of basically creating the little solar system that the player is in. Once that's perfected, which will take a little bit of time, it's basically I can just recall that and recall that and recall that again. So whenever I need to call it, I can, with some modifications or whatever, like I can just recall it again and again and again. Once that loop is perfected, basically. The only problem is, of course, that it just takes a lot of tweaking to get to that point. But that's nothing with. Oh, this is the asteroid field. So I started adding the asteroid field, and you can see there it's actually got physics as well. So it does sort of dynamically move around the scene. It looks really cool actually in real time when you see that. When you see that running, I'll probably add a few little clips at the end of this too of just a few clips of the dev process, I guess. I'll do that at the start probably. No, but yeah, another few minutes left actually. So I think here I'm. What am I doing here? Obviously typing quite fast. Oh, the random planet names. So I was trying to get the. So the random planet names are assigned to each planet, but I just need them to show up somehow. So I was trying to get the fuse cursor to display based on when you gaze at the planet. I've not finalised that yet, but I was basically just trying to hack that out a bit, because that will be an easy win. Because it's already there, basically. I just need to get it to display. I've already got the text elements for the planet name. It's currently not positioned correctly, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, right? It's not going to be hard. It's just like literally appending text to a HTML element, basically, the text element. Oh, this is where I was trying to. This is where I got onto like generating a planet. So at the minute it's just generated when you press spacebar, just so I can test it out. But essentially, there'll be some sort of interface, or maybe when you go near a planet, you'll land on it. And it's probably be more like. I forgot to mention this before. I want to add in a system so that you can basically have a navigation system. Now this is just an end of thing, but I started experimenting with that a little bit. So basically, like, it would grab the position of the ship, grab the position of the planet it wants to go to, and then it would give you a long line that would show you where to go. But that's further down the line. This is the planet generation, so I managed to get the planet generating on spacebar, and then remove. So basically, how I do because obviously, like, there's like two separate scenes, right, within one. So what I do is I create an entity for the space scene and then an entity for the planet scene, and then I make the I think I mentioned this before. I make the visibility false for the space and the planet, vice versa true. Again, just messing around with that setting just to get a preview scene up and going. That's it, literally. It's for the AFrame environment component. Seems the easiest way to do it. I'm going to have to factor in walking off the end of the map though, but I think I want to do that just by measuring where the player is, and if they start going off